What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Horizon Home Theater. Today, I got an update on the theater for you. We're going to get into it right after the intro. All right, guys, so what I'm going to cover today is how to level your floor out. So a lot of times when you're using your garage and you're also using an existing room in the house, what will happen is, because the garage is designed for water, in case it backs up, for water to get in, it's actually sloped to run out. Meanwhile, your other floor level is here. So what I had to do in my project is I knocked down the wall like I told you guys before, and now I have to bring that floor level of the garage up to the existing floor so that we have one seamless floor. Let me go ahead and show you how I achieved this. All right, guys, as you can see, what I did was, you can see my laser level there. And what I did was I found the level of the existing floor, which is the tile right there and the concrete. And I actually I found that level by using my laser level, and that laser level goes across the whole entire, it's like a four-way laser level. So I can get a vertical, I can get a perpendicular, I can get three different lasers going at one time with this laser level. So what I did was I found that level and I marked it in several locations on the wall, and then I measured 3/4 of an inch down. And the reason why I did that is because that plywood is 3/4 of an inch. So when I set that plywood on top of that actual level right there where the tile would have came, it wouldn't have been a seamless walkout. I would have had a 3/4 inch step up. So what I did was I actually dropped the floor 3/4 of an inch from the level of the tile floor here, and when I add that board on top, it should come out seamlessly. Now, the way that I achieve that is there are my garage floor actually slopes from back to front, and as I mentioned in the intro, the reason for that is if for some reason water were to back up in here, that slope allows for the water to run back out. So what we did was we made this floor in two separate sections. So I took my measurements from lengthwise, and then I also took my measurements widthwise. And what I did when I actually have a frame nailer and everything else, so I built this just like you would see a framer build a wall. I laid it on the floor, measured my measurements out, and from each end, I nailed it. And then what I did was I lifted it into place. Now, I don't know if you guys can see or not, but I actually used these small cut 2x4 pieces to level the floor. So what I did to level the floor is I actually used something called a shim. Now these are composite shims and it's made of plastic. So what you do is you take and you stick that underneath the board. Your cabinets and various things use shims throughout your house that you don't even know. And as you can see, one end is thicker than the other. So what I did was I got the framing completely level with these shims. And then I went and took blocks like these and I put them flush to the floor so that when you walk on the top of this piece of block is actually holding the actual floor joist, even though it's floating off the ground. So I put those like every foot and a half, and I use nails, but I'm actually going to go in and I'm going to reinforce with screws. On the second part of the floor that I dropped in, I actually use screws. And it just found that using the screws didn't allow it to wobble as much. So I'm going to go ahead and get you a close-up shot of how we put that together. So as you can see, this is about a 1/4 of an inch gap right here. And what I did was I literally pressed that piece of board on the ground like so, and then I drove 2 screws in. And now this board will not move up and down. And I did that across the entire floor. One other thing that I did was I put this cork foam underlayment on there, and this is actually used for wood floors and various other flooring products, that you put this underlayment down first, and then you put the wood floor over top of it. So this should stop any type of resonating of these wood floors. Now the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to actually put this rock wool right inside of those gaps. And then we're going to go back over top of it once all the rock wool is in there, because we don't want sound just resonating in there. What we're going to do is we're going to put that 3/4 inch plywood on top of that. Once I'm done with that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get a wall. We're going to go ahead and get a wall going down this side, and we're going to get a wall going down this side. And then in the front, once we get those walls, I'm going to be building a wall 2 feet from the front of that wall there. And what that's going to allow me to do is put my speakers behind there, behind the actual wall. I'm going to be using acoustic fabric to cover those up. And then you can kind of see, some of my tape fell here, but you can kind of see the dimensions of the screen size that I'm going to be putting in. After I get this floor up, it is going to be time to demo that Coffered ceiling. So we're going to go ahead and get that Coffered ceiling demoed, because the reason before that is, once I run that wall down this side, right here, it's going to be 6 inches from the wall, and guess what? When you open that door, you're going to be walking right into a wall. So I'm going to have to move that door, and then that Coffered ceiling right there is not going to look very good with half a wall hanging over top of it. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of that, and we're going to wind up putting a tray up, eventually doing a star ceiling. I don't know if that'll probably be the last thing that I do, star ceiling. As you guys know, I've been putting this theater together for a year, anxious to get it going and at least get it functional. And then what we can do is we can put decorations on the wall, or acoustics on the wall, or whatever else we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and add that after I get all the screen in and everything else. So if you have any questions about this build, please hit me up in the comments. Also, go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.